Welcome back. Well, Prime Minister Modi has concluded a productive visit to China during which he attended the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin. Prime Minister Modi affirmed that he emphasized India's stand on key global issues as he interacted with various global leaders as well. This, of course, comes after we saw Prime Minister Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping interacting and sharing a laugh as the day's proceedings kicked off. Significantly, SCO heads of states also signed the Tianjin Declaration amidst the summit. In a major move, the SCO condemned the Pahalgam terror attack and spoke out against cross-border terrorism. The Prime Minister concluded his visit with a key bilateral meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin, where he stated that India and Russia have always stood shoulder to shoulder, even in the most difficult situations. He also affirmed that India and Russia's energy ties were strengthening, as he stated that he eagerly awaited the Russian President's visit to India in December. Well, we'll talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the platform at this point in time is Mr. Alok Mehta, Editorial Director of India News, Mr. Manan Dwivedi, Foreign Affairs Expert, Dr. Sandeep Tripathi, Foreign Affairs Expert, also here with us, and Mr. Satoru Nagao, Fellow at the Hudson Institute, is joining us from Tokyo on the program as well. Mr. Mehta, I'll begin with you, sir. So what has been your synopsis of how the SCO has gone by in light of the events which have shaken the world in the last few days?
SCO, and especially the China and Russia and India, in their leadership, the whole almost half of the world, they accepted how Pakistan doing and what they did in terrorism, and then Pahalgam, mentioning Pahalgam since the last few days, even our opposition leaders and somebody, and even Pakistan was expecting that okay, they will not accept this kind of India's issue. But you see, this is a very important issue because the China especially, who always supported Pakistan, this time openly he in his land, Xi Jinping, very accepted. Yesterday also the Prime Minister spoke to him in the details, and that's why I think this statement was very well planned in such a manner. They were convinced, and since last few months, Chinese were thinking that now we should have very good relations with India. Maybe it's not a change the whole policy. We can't think that okay, we will be for 100 years what will happen. But certainly, at present, the border issue will be continued because since last for 60 years this is going on. But I think this time, because this world politics also changed, and people think just because of the tariff, American Trump will come and go. But these kind of equations, what earlier also we used to discuss, the dragon and elephant, and the same time the Russians is a very good partner since last 75 years. And with China also, the China president himself wrote to our president that okay, we will have a 75 years, now we should have more better relations, cooperation. And the Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized openly with all leaders. Putin is very good friendly with Modi ji, and that's why there were long discussion afterwards. Earlier also, they were discussing on this issue, on terror issue. Russian also know Taliban, how it happened to Taliban. So I think the Chinese also, because China also looking for a market, because American all the time they are pressurizing. So India, we want to have a trade with China, also having trade with Americans. We are not anti-American. Prime Minister also clarified it. This is not against the United States. But because their policies, we are not aligned with anybody. Like Sito, at the time, we are not party of any group. But certainly, I think that's why I'm thinking that this for peace and prosperity and for economic relations, in this SCO, what the agenda was, it was focused with India. You see earlier Shanghai, but now they gave the new definition of whole SCO, security, communication, and these kind of new, always is the Prime Minister's style to change the whole agenda. I think what G20, Western countries also supported all the time with us, and the BRICS. So I think these kind of new combination, Asian countries, African countries, India trying to convince everywhere that for human being, India trying for peace, prosperity, and for human society. That's why I think this important, this event will go in a new chapter of the SCO, not only for United Nations also, because UN General Secretary is also there. So you can imagine that this is the international forum, Pakistan was there. When you see how much they ignored, even the Putin and Modi, the visual, maybe Chinese still they have relations, but even then, how they are ignored in the whole conference, and they were just condemning Pakistan itself on the terrorism, cross-border terrorism, naming Pahalgam also. So it's not a question of international terrorism because only the Pakistan is doing what they did in Pahalgam, but earlier also since that 20, 30 years we are fighting with the terrorism. So I think this was the agenda for peace and for economic relations, countering American domination all over the world and dictation. I think India opposed this kind of dictation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself. And that's why I think the Putin also have good relations with America. Xi Jinping also want to trade with them and American also want. So why we should be party with the American dictation? I think that's why I think it is the right signal, and we should feel proud as Indian that India now in such a situation. Just last line, because 1993, I was there when Prime Minister Narsimha Rao started first time this kind of agreement was there, and after at that time the both countries were very poor conditions. There was nothing there. The Indian economy was also very weak. Chinese economy was very weak. They were also starting. There was cycles and cycles. Nowadays, China is also competing very strongly with the United States economically, and India is also number 4 and number 3. It will be the next year. So these kind of superpower we are taking and for peace, not for fighting, not for the what Trump always say. Okay, I want to sell arms. I want to give more arms to Ukraine. Purchase from me. That's why they can't dictate India either for oil or arms. Arm twisting is not possible with India. This was the real message from